All right. One of the things about being on an appellate court is you never actually get to use a gavel. So that's a first. Well, let me call us to order this meeting of the Judicial Council. And the first order of business is to swear in our newest member, Presiding Justice Sarah Warren. So you would stand and raise your right hand. I do swear or affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on me as a member of the Judicial Council of Georgia, according to the best of my ability and understanding. That as a member of the Judicial Council, I will endeavor to improve the administration of justice in this state for the benefit of the public as well as the bench and bar. That I will strive to improve the judicial system of this state as a whole as well as in its parts. And that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Georgia. So help me God. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Official.
It is long, but it doesn't include anything about not being the holder of unaccounted for public funds. All right. Ms. Clanton, roll call.
Okay. And did you want to do some of the housekeeping reminders?
Y'all know how all this works. Speaking to the microphones. Have we moved to electronic materials for this meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Electronic materials for this meeting, you can access them at the link printed at the top of the agenda. If you're a guest, be sure to sign in or email rsvp@georgiacourts.gov so we have a record of you being here for the minutes. The meeting is being recorded, is live streamed, and is open to the press and the public. So again, remember the sensitivity of the microphones. And during voting items, which we don't really have much of today, I will call for opposition only. And then a reminder for the annual Judicial Council AOC Law Day Art Contest. You have a booklet at your seat that includes the finalists submitted by Georgia students, and we'll ask that you vote on your favorites. Cynthia will speak about this in her remarks later on. All right, roll call.
Well, and Judge Guy is here, so
Yes.
I'm happy to do roll in.
All right. She was stalling for you, Judge.
I like it.
Presiding Justice Sarah Hawkins Warren. Here. Chief Judge Amanda Mercier.
Here.
Judge Hamrick.
Here.
Chief Judge Ann Harris.
Here.
Judge Burt Guy.
Here.
Judge Jay Stewart.
Here.
Judge Ernest.
Here.
Judge Gottfried.
Here.
Chief Judge Shondina Cruz Morris.
Here.
Chief Judge Earl Glanville.
Here.
Chief Judge Thomas Wilson.
Here.
Chief Judge Scott Smith.
Here.
Judge Chris Hughes.
Here.
Judge David Dickinson.
Here.
Judge Kevin Moore sitting in for Chief Judge Cheryl Crowley today.
Here.
Chief Judge Jeff Hansen.
Here.
Chief Judge Greg Sapp.
Here.
Judge Neil Brunt.
Here.
Chief Judge Michelle Harrison.
Here.
Judge Chris Baller.
Here.
Judge Scott Chastain.
Here.
Judge Robert Wolf.
Here.
Chief Judge Nathan Grantham.
Here.
Chief Judge Norman Quadra, who's sitting in for Chief Judge David Will.
Here.
Chief Judge Robert Cowan.
Here.
And the Honorable Ivy Cadle.
Here.
This is, I think, Ivy's last Judicial Council meeting as State Bar President. Is that right?
I think I'm have one more. That's when you check the calendar, Chief.
Well, I also want to recognize the President-elect of the State Bar, Chris Twyman, who is here as well. So, Chris, welcome, and we're looking forward to your bar year ahead. All right, with that, we move to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I call on Judge Baller to lead us in that. If you'd all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
All right, on to our one action item of the day, which is the approval of the minutes, which are in your materials. These are the minutes from the February 7th general session, which was held by Zoom. Everyone has had a chance to review those. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion by Judge Cowan. There was a second from over here, Judge Ernest. Any discussion? Any objection? The minutes are approved. And with that, we will go into the Judicial Council Committee reports. And we will start with the report on the Standing Committee on Legislation. Tracy, am I doing this? Or are you doing this?
I am not doing it.
Okay, all right. So I've gotten used, I've gotten used to the weekly meetings of the Legislation Committee in which Tracy really does all of the heavy lifting. So, and to be fair, she actually wrote all this out for me to begin with, so. And let me just start by saying, y'all have, no matter how much you see and you work with Tracy and Abigail and Robbie and Andrew and the rest of the AOC team that interacts on legislation and budget, y'all have no idea how hard they work and what just a fabulous job they consistently do for the judicial branch of the state. And this year, sometimes the amount and quality of the work and the results just bear no resemblance to each other for reasons wholly outside of our control. This is not one of those years. I think this may be the single most successful legislative session in the history of the Judicial Council. The General Assembly adjourned sine die on Friday the 4th, which is why parking was possible here today. The governor has 40 days to sign or veto legislation. That 40th day will be May 14th. And we did have weekly calls throughout the session. Really appreciate the participation of many of y'all here today in those calls. Kept us all on the same page of what was going on. This is the first year of a 2-year biennium. So legislation that did not make it, as long as it wasn't voted down, is still out there. But just a quick rundown on the final status of the items that Judicial Council supported. House Bill 179, which is digital takedown from the Court Reporting Matters Committee. Representative Tyler Paul Smith sponsored the bill in the House. Senator Brian Strickland carried it for us in the Senate. And we achieved final passage during the final week of the session. The bill will be effective January 1st of 26, and rules will be adopted to regulate the use of digital recording for affected classes of court. As y'all will recall, this doesn't create any mandates. It simply authorizes judges to use digital recording instead of having to have a court reporter sit in the courtroom for every proceeding, and hopefully will free up court reporters as we all deal with the shortage that we've been experiencing. I want to say a special thank you to Judge Ben Land from the Court of Appeals, who's chaired that committee and who really took a lead role both in the crafting of the legislation and in helping shepherd it through the process. So. And appreciate the collaboration from the Georgia Court Reporters Association through the process as well. Next bill, House Bill 199, regarding judicial security. This is a follow-on to a bill that we had success with last year, Senate Bill 508, to provide for the restriction of personally identifiable information of judges. This bill really was just refining the process for how we'll go about that. Representative Trey Kelly in the House sponsored the bill. Chairman Blake Tillery in the Senate carried it for us on the floor. And the bill's effective July 1st of this year, and it will basically create a process where AOC will put together some forms that you can then use with your locals to ensure that they withhold and restrict public access to your phone number, your home address, but it also imposes an affirmative obligation on groups like the State Ethics Commission to restrict that information from documents that are already publicly available. So that's a real good development, and just stay tuned for more information from AOC as implementation proceeds. And then House Bills 85 and 86, judicial compensation reform. This has been a long time coming. It's the result of several years of work. Initially started through an ad hoc committee of this body appointed by then Chief Justice Dave Namias, which gives you a sense of how long this has been going. And just a real special thank you to Justice Charlie Bethel, but also to Judge Rusty Smith, who co-chaired that committee and was a really big part of helping achieve what we have today. And I know we all miss Rusty. But House Bill 85 and House Bill 86 were both sponsored by Representative Rob Leverett, carried in the Senate by Senator Bo Hatchett, and they passed, and the budget funded the amounts beginning January 1st. So I don't know, Judge Harris, if you have anything you'd like to add to that.
Historic, but really the only thing I'd like to do is extend my appreciation to, and I'm not going to call y'all the lower courts. I know technically that's the name, but I think of y'all as sister courts, how much we appreciate y'all's patience and cooperation in the process. I know there are pieces of it here and there that, you know, a lot of folks didn't particularly like, but I just appreciate very much y'all's cooperation and your support during the process over the last 2 years.
Well, and I want to echo that. I know there are pieces that, this is not legislation that everybody loves every last piece of, but I really appreciate, in particular, council leadership and chief judge leadership from all of the classes of court. I know we had a couple of hiccups late in the session with a couple of individuals, but in a judiciary with 1,600 judges, that's always going to be the case. But council leadership and chief judge leadership in circuits really stood up at some critical times to help get this across the finish line. And so just a big thank you to all of you. And you know who you are. I'm not going to call anybody out. All right. Let's see. House Bill 132, Office of Senior Municipal Court Judge. Representative Matt Reeves sponsored that. And it did make it out of House Judiciary Committee, but it did not cross over. And then it was amended onto House Bill 304, which would create the Council of Municipal Court Clerks, but then was one of those bills that didn't make it out of Senate rules at the very end. And Judge Cowan, I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add to that.
We're working with the clerks to see if we can get prepared for next session and see if we can push that through. So, and we appreciate obviously everything that Tracy does, and can't say enough about all the help that you provide.
Next is House Bill 180, additional qualifications for Article 6 probate court judges. Representative Tyler Paul Smith sponsored that in the House, and it was carried in the Senate by Senator Bo Hatchett. That did achieve final passage. This bill just aligned the affidavit requirement that's in statute with the qualifications requirements that are in statute, so that the affidavit was in fact testifying to all of the qualifications that the statute imposed. Judge Baller, I don't know if you have anything to add from the council.
Nothing regarding that one. It was pretty straightforward. I thought a simple bill, and I know I called that earlier, and someone called me out for, don't say it's going to be easy.
Yeah, easy things often are not. Next, we come to legislation that I think really is critical for the public trust and confidence in the judiciary in this state, and that's nonpartisan elections for probate and magistrate court judges. And I'm really pleased that House Bill 426, which provides for the nonpartisan election of all magistrate judges in the state, carried by Representative Kimberly New in the House and in the Senate by Senator Rick Williams, did achieve final passage. And so that will go into effect. And that's a big deal. And congratulations to the magistrate court judges and to the probate court judges, because they really worked hand in hand on this. Unlike the magistrate court judges, the probate judges actually need a constitutional amendment to provide for nonpartisan elections, and that was introduced, and it came out of House Judiciary Committee, but it did not cross over, and so that will be a piece that we look to work on during the next session. But a special thank you to Judge Baller and to Judge Wolf for y'all's efforts on that. I don't know if either of you have anything you'd like to add on that.
No, just thank you to you as well, and your words recently about the rule of law and how this will help support that means a lot to us.
Yeah, I agree. We appreciate everything and the help and collaboration with the magistrate court, and we're hoping that we can do the same thing next year for our constitutional amendment.
Right. And then House Bill 530, electronic filing in probate courts, from the Council of Probate Court Judges. Representative Rob Leverett was very busy this session. He sponsored that, and then Senator Larry Walker III carried it in the Senate. It was placed on the final Senate rules calendar, but was tabled on day 39, which is their practice, and then did not receive a final vote. So it will be there ready for action next session. And Judge Baller, I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add to that.
Nothing to add other than you're right, next year we'll be there, ready to move both of those forward.
The council's top 3 ranked judgeship recommendations were created and funded for terms beginning January 1st. That's the Alapaha Judicial Circuit in House Bill 55, the Douglas Judicial Circuit in Senate Bill 88, and the Augusta Judicial Circuit in Senate Bill 145. So congratulations to each of those circuits. We will start the process for next year's legislative cycle soon. Look for information to be sent out by Tracy Mason. And let me just add, clearly we have some pieces that are left that we'll look to continue to work next year. I do think that there is a risk at times about this body being overly focused on legislative initiatives. I think it is important for the other branches to remember that we are different. And so I am going to be looking the next couple of years to try to have a smaller legislative package, and to be over in that building asking for things less, because the more the legislature sees judges as just, another group of lobbyists out there with their hand out, it tends to undermine the specialness that the courts ought to have. And so I just want that to be on y'all's radar screen. I think the bar for new legislation, new legislative initiatives the next couple of years probably needs to be a little bit higher than it's been recently. But we just had enormous success and got a lot of really important things done, and so it's okay to go with that for a little while. And with that, please just reach out to me or Tracy if you'll have anything, or the new chair of the Standing Committee on Legislation, the presiding justice, and just look for information from Tracy on sort of timing of initiatives for the Legislation Committee. All right, with that, we go to budget, and I believe Andrew Zoll will be presenting on budget.
Thank you, Chief Justice Peterson, members of the Judicial Council. I'm Andrew Zoll, Chief Budget Officer, presenting for Justice Charlie Bethel. I will just quickly note that there are materials included in tab 3 of your packet, which includes a year-to-date budget report as well as a full accounting of all of the enhancements in the amended FY25 budget and the FY26 budget. But with that, I will kind of quickly run through some of the budget items from this past session. In the amended fiscal year 25 budget, the Judicial Council did receive funding for both of its requests, which included judicial security initiatives, which is not directly related to HB 199, but will help build on that as well as the work of that standing committee. We also received funds for 3 new information technology positions, which is a systems engineer position, an information security analyst position, as well as a court tools specialist position, and those were funded as of April 1st. We also did receive funding. The General Assembly initiated this, $50,000 for a very local project related to some records preservation in Terrell County, so we were working with them on that local project. For the fiscal year 26 general budget, we did receive support for several Judicial Council initiatives that included annualizing both the security initiatives and IT positions that I just mentioned from the amended. We also received annualized funding for the JCATS case management system for juvenile courts. We did receive some targeted recruitment and retention initiatives funding, which we are very appreciative that like many of the salary enhancements throughout the judicial branch will start on January 1st of 2026. Our partners at the Council of Accountability Court Judges received funding for 1 certification officer position, as well as a position that's more aimed at statewide services and aligning all of the resources across the state. Our friends at the JQC received fundings related to their move to Capitol Hill, as well as some funds related to outside legal fees and funding for a new staff attorney for their hearing panel. The statewide business court is now encompassed in Section 6 Judicial Council, and they receive funds for the judicial compensation reform, as well as some staff salaries, both beginning January 1st. Outside of that, we did receive a transfer of $1.1 million, which moves the Prosecuting Attorneys Qualifications Commission from under the Prosecuting Attorneys Council to under now the Section 6 Judicial Council section of the budget. And that would be beginning July 1st of this year. All of those together, not including that transfer, represents a $1.6 million increase in the Judicial Council's operating budget. There were 3 requests that we did not receive funding for. 2 were grant programs. 1 was new funding for the Office of Dispute Resolution. I do think there was a large difference between the House and Senate, so that, there were some circumstances that made it difficult to get everything we were going to ask for in this budget. And I think if you look throughout, you'll see that judicial branch got some very good support from our legislative partners, especially as it relates to our personnel. So we very much appreciate their support this session.
Well, and Andrew, let me just interrupt briefly there. When we went over to the Senate, we got directives from the Senate Appropriations Committee to come in with a 1% cut. And of course, the House had already taken some of the initiatives out of the budget, and so we had hoped to go into the Senate and try and get those restored. And it's very hard to get items restored while simultaneously having to come in with a cut. So the fact that we got as much restored as we did really does speak both to the support from the legislature of the judicial branch and to just the great work of Andrew and his team. So,
thank you. And with that concludes my remarks on the budget from this session. I did just want to turn to next steps, which is the amended fiscal year 26 and fiscal year 27 budgets. Usually I would have a timeline for white paper processes, usually around this time of year from May to June. I am working with Justice Bethel as well as the Chief Justice to kind of maybe tweak that process a little bit, but we hope to have more information on those dates and meeting timelines in the very near future.
great. Any questions for Mr. Zoll? All right, thank you very much. Now we'll have a report on the Artificial Intelligence and the Courts Committee. Judge Kelly?
I could defer my report till I do technology report, Mr. Chief Justice.
Of course.
I could go after the Chief Justice.
All right. ARPA Funding Committee, the new chair of the ARPA Funding Committee, Chief Judge Amanda Mercier. Congratulations.
I don't know if this is working.
Here.
Don't hold it, okay. All right, good morning, everybody. My report, yours, okay, I'll use yours. I'm pretty loud. I don't know if I need it. All right, my report today is going to be brief, as the committee has not met since our last judicial council meeting in February, but we are scheduled to meet on May 16th. Today is in fact the final day of our current application period. Applications for new awards and budget amendments to existing awards, including requests for additional funding, have been accepted March 31st through today. This is the final application opportunity for the current year, 2023 to 2025 performance period, and these awards will expire on December the 31st of this year. As of last Friday, April the 4th, over $47 million have been reimbursed for expenses for calendar years 2023 through 2025. We still encourage all the circuits to focus on spending their current awards. As I stated, this is the final year of the current grant, and subject to available funding, which we will be assessing going forward, we intend to provide an opportunity for new awards that will cover a 9-month performance period in 2026. In accordance with the committee's use of awards funds policy, we continue to work with circuits to assess their current awards and projected spending in line with the policy's defined benchmarks. I want to thank all of their circuits for working with us on this cooperative process. I know it's been long and lengthy, but we have accomplished a lot. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that former Chief Justice Boggs poured pretty much his heart and soul into this, so I am happy to take this over for him, but he did an enormous amount of work for the state of Georgia and for all of us. We have received a copy of the calendar year 2023 audit results from the independent auditor, and letters are going out to all of those circuits that need to provide the auditor with more information, along with copies of their results, and the deadline for responding to those will be May 2nd. The letters also advise the circuits that due to the independent nature of the audit, neither the ARPA committee nor the AOC will be able to respond to any audit-related inquiries or accept documents submitted in response to the auditor's findings. As a reminder, the ARPA program will end on December the 31st, 2026. I look forward to continuing to work with the committee and seeing them all on May 16th as we progress forward till the end.
Well, thank you, and let me echo Chief Judge Mercier's thanks to Chief Justice Boggs. The amount of time and energy that he put into this ARPA program, making sure that the circuits across the state had the resources in the wake of COVID to do what they needed to do, he busted it, and he busted it for a long time, and just we're very grateful to that. All right, Judge Kelly. AI and technology.
Good morning. I want to thank y'all for allowing me to represent y'all on the chair of the Technology Committee and co-chair with Justice Pinson on the AI Committee. I want to start first with the Technology Committee. We met March 31st. We meet about every other month, and we're kind of the Judicial Council of Technology. There are so many technology committees and things going on right now. We hear reports. There's quite a few that sign on to the Technology Committee. We do meet virtually. I think that's only appropriate. And we have quite a few that sign on and that make the meetings, and I think it's very transparent that the state and all the partners and vendors can see just the excellent job that judicial agencies and staff are doing. Shout out to the AOC and their IT department, always going to do that. We give updates from Ben and his crew on the new security updates, stuff that maybe not super interests a lot of people, but for tech people that sign on to the tech committee, they're always interested in what's going on in the security world. It's very, very important. You don't see that, but if it breaks, you certainly know it. And but I would ask y'all, encourage you to sign on to the website, the gateway, give any comments, pay attention. They have the newsletter, training events, education events that are coming up that are all very, very important. One thing that we saw was a short, we watched a YouTube clip, and I'd invite everybody, just if we want to have a little fun, go out there to Arizona Supreme Court. This may be a challenge to you, Chief Justice, that Arizona Supreme Court uses AI to read their opinions. And then it summarizes the opinions, and then they have an avatar that presents the opinions to the public. Now, before they let the avatars actually present it to the public, they have to, a human being has to approve what AI has generated. But it's been very successful, and when I watched the avatars, I really could not tell that they were not human beings, and it was a little bit unnerving, actually. And I hope maybe in our August presentation that we might could have an avatar, AI avatar, present the AI committee's report to y'all. That's my challenge. I challenged, and that moves me right into, with Justice Pinson and I have co-chaired the AI committee. It has, Chief Justice Boggs had thought that it was an important enough topic across the United States that we needed a separate ad hoc committee to look just into this. We have divided it up into 3 different subcommittees. We have AI in Court Proceedings Committee, subcommittee, which is chaired by Judge McBurney. We have Adoption and Implementation Committee, which is chaired by me. And then he threw on the looking at the rules as a last dig before he left, to throw that on my committee. And then Access to Justice, which is chaired by Judge Goebel. We have a timeline. The first couple months in on these subcommittees, we've had the National Center for State Courts has partnered with us, and they have been providing expert witnesses to come in, experts to come in and testify to these committees on these topics. And we've been meeting for the last couple of months, every committee, some lunch meetings, we do it at 8 o'clock, and which has kind of put a little bit of a strain on some of the National Center for State Courts who live out west. But it's been fabulous, very interesting to hear all these experts around the country testify as to these different subjects, matters. And we're meeting, so our time with that pretty much is concluded. In April, we're meeting on the 22nd of this month, all the co-chairs of the subcommittees to kind of come up with our preliminary draft report. We expect to have that draft done by May. And then the final report is due by the Chief Justice's order by June. I would just, there's a lot of people, AI can be kind of overwhelming. I think this judicial Mr. Chief Justice and this council probably need to look at in the future. Maybe probably address it from the final report. Some of the questions will be, of course, how do we keep up with all this advanced technology in the future? Is it just a subset of technology? Do we need to give Mr. Luke a few more funds to hire an AI expert? There's, what kind of problems are really trying to solve with AI? Do we have a approved vendor list for AI? What kind of guidelines do we want to have? Do we really want to change any of our ethic guidelines? So a lot of this is we're on, looking at. But I think it's very important. For instance, I'm an accountability court judge. And just, by the way, I tell all my accountability court folks that my favorite phrase is planning ahead should be done in advance. And so that I don't run late to an important committee like this, council like this, I usually come up the night before because I come all the way from God's country down on the coast. And but yesterday I had court, it was a long day in court. I had other things I had to do. I just get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, come on up. Well, lo and behold, I get on I-16 and stopped to have breakfast at Dublin at about 6:15 this morning and got back on. And right when you get past the land of nowhere, apparently there was a major accident. I couldn't see what had happened, but everything was stopped. I sat there for 30 minutes, have no clue what's going on. I texted Mr. Luke, said, Mr. Luke, you may have to give this report. Well, I didn't have anything else to do. I said, I wonder if AI knows what's going on. So I got on my iPad, and I'm not sure if this is a crime or not, because I did turn my car off. And I got on my iPad, and I have...
Just don't tell us which jurisdiction you were in at the time.
So I got on my iPad, which I have AI installed, and I asked AI, I said, what in the world is going on I-16? Within seconds, it detailed that there was a crash. I was probably only half a mile from the crash, but I couldn't see it. It detailed the crash, semi-trucks involved, these other cars involved, hazmat units coming. So AI is here. AI is here. But at least they got it resolved so I could get here. I think as judges and people in the judicial system, we resolve disputes, we interpret the law, we protect rights, we decide punishment. But I believe honestly that using AI appropriately in the future and helping incorporate that with other data science will help us improve our quality, our efficiency, our fairness, and our access to justice. So thank you, Mr. Chief Justice. I'll sit down now unless anybody has any questions. That's our report.
Thank you, Judge. Any questions for Judge Kelly for either the Technology Committee or the AI Committee? Thank you, and thank you to you and to Justice Pinson and the rest of the committee for the work y'all are doing. I know AI is kind of a moving target, and so whatever solution you come up with may be to, a version of AI that won't be around for long, but it's the best we can do, and it's really important, so appreciate y'all's work. I don't know that my court is going to be adopting the use of avatars anytime real soon. We have a number of good friends on the Arizona Supreme Court, and I think the best way to characterize them is dangerously innovative. And with that, we'll move on to the Judicial Workload Assessment Committee and Judge Rob Leonard.
You might be able to put like some Boggs hair on you.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that.
Only you can say
All
that.
right, well, imagine having AI in your case management system to correctly categorize the pleadings that get filed. Wouldn't that be nice if we didn't have to rely on a data entry person or some pro se litigant filling out the case initiation form to correctly categorize stuff for our case counts? This is where my head goes when I'm making this report. But this will be a short report. The reporting window has closed. Staff is conducting the preliminary analysis. That information will go out soon. Other than that, Chief will stand on our written report. If there's any questions for JWAC. It's a slow time for the committee, but a busy time for staff doing all the analysis, so those reports will be forthcoming.
Any JWAC-related questions for Judge Leonard? All right, well, you can stay up there and talk to us about the CMS committee.
All right, now this is an exciting time. The initial discovery period has concluded. Discovery will be ongoing though, so don't be worried about that. We continue to reach out to all different kinds of stakeholders. I want you to know that they have visited 11 counties, 5 classes of courts. There's thousands of man hours into like just deep dives with different courts, what's going on, the processes, and doing those sort of interviews so that the development team can get their brain wrapped around what it is that we do. It's very different from place to place as they're learning. And so it is, that has been really insightful. The build phase has started. And so they are now, developing features and building the sort of foundation of what will be the Georgia case management system. We are continuing on with focus groups, and multiple different court conferences are coming up. And so the members of the team will be there to be presenting and field questions from different classes of courts at their various different conferences. There's also engagement going on with external stakeholders. Think about GCIC, DBHTD, other people like that need to be interfaced with, including accountability courts, and reaching out to lawyers and the local bar associations. And I had a good talk this morning with Bob McAteer, to make sure that we're able to sort of, think ahead and think about how we want records to get sent to you all. So we're going on looping some appellate court folks in on that as well. The committee meets once a month. We're also virtual, as you might imagine. If you got any questions or want to plug into that process a little more, email Ben Luke and he will get you plugged in. If anybody's got any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Any CMS-related questions for Judge Leonard? All right, well, thank you for your report. Thank you for your leadership, both of this committee and the JWAC process. We appreciate the time and effort that you spend on that. Committee on Court Reporters has a written report that I believe you'll find at tab 7. I don't know whether the tabs correspond to the electronic materials.
Yeah,
Okay.
7. So in the electronic materials, you'll see 7.
Okay. And then Judicial Security at 8, and the Grants Committee at 9, and those are all written reports. And with that, we'll hear from Ms. Clanton.
Yeah, better get up unless you want to get a brief break or anything, or
I think we're good.
I think we're good. Good morning, everybody. Justices, judges, and judicial branch leaders, congratulations to our new Chief Justice, Nels Peterson, and our new presiding justice, Sarah Hawkins Warren, who were sworn into their new roles on April 1st. The change in leadership at the Supreme Court means a change in leadership at the Judicial Council, and we look forward to serving our Chief Justice Peterson and our new chair, and presiding Justice Warren as our new vice chair. As each of you lives up to the trust bestowed upon you by the people of Georgia, we, in turn, commit to living up to the trust you place in us. Chief will support you as the defender of and advocate for the rule of law. And PJ, we are inspired by your devotion to excellence, service, and family. Before moving on with my report, I'd like to thank former Chief Justice Michael Boggs for his past leadership of the Supreme Court, Judicial Council, and many important initiatives, including criminal justice and behavioral health reform, and more recently leading our ARPA committee, overseeing the grants to aid courts with their serious felony case backlogs. To date, over $62 million has been provided to Georgia's judiciary. All of us at the AOC, and especially our ARPA team shown here in this photo, will miss Justice Boggs' desire to improve justice and the need for data to show return on the government's investment of dollars in our work. Congratulations to Court of Appeals presiding Judge Brian Rickman, who recently was appointed to the JQC investigative panel, and Chief Superior Court Judge for the Okmulgee Judicial Circuit, Allison Burleson, who was recently appointed to the JQC hearing panel. As you heard, the Georgia General Assembly adjourned sine die exactly 1 week ago. It's been a fast time. And a little early that evening, which was really nice, I know, for everybody. Due to the dedication of all the judges from all over the state's judicial branch secured many budget and legislative successes. The AOC legislative staff and interns have been busy drafting bill summaries, and our annual enacted legislation report is going to be available for you after the governor's signing. Our thanks to Court of Appeals Judge Ben Land, who chairs the Court Reporting Matters Committee, for his stewardship of the digital takedown legislation, which will provide judges with an additional reporting option to move assigned cases. AOC staff attorney Carrie Scott was a huge help working on the many drafts of this bill. Now, it was twice the camaraderie with the Council of Probate Court Judges and the Council of Magistrate Court Judges held their legislative days at the Capitol on February 20th. Supreme Court Justice Ellington, who you might spot in this photo, was also at the Capitol that day and joined the Magistrate Court Judges in their warm hospitality, as he was a Magistrate Court Judge many, many years ago. The following week, the Council of Municipal Court Judges hosted their legislative day at the Capitol, and this time we spotted Justice Bethel and new Chief Justice Peterson at the event. Thank you to Municipal Court Judge Cowan and Will, who are our latest judges to be featured in our Meet the Members of the Judicial Council video series. Really good videos. Well done, Judge Cowan. You look like a movie star. The Georgia Council of Court Administrators had a banner year and was honored with a Senate resolution during the legislative session. Their spring conference featured former Chief Judge Harold Melton, who provided invaluable perspectives on leadership and judicial excellence to the members, peppered with just a bit of humor. GCCA members also toured the Georgia Supreme Court and had the privilege of meeting with Justice Verda Colvin, who generously shared her time and insights into the court's operations. Congratulations to GCCA President Timothy Ezel for a very successful year. Judges from every class of court throughout the state volunteer in their communities in many, many ways all the time. For example, I'm sharing pictures of Henry County State Court Judge Stephen Knights and Chattahoochee Circuit Superior Court Judge Gil McBride in speaking engagements on civics and the role of judges in our system of government. Judges, please let us know how we can support you in this work. We've got wonderful, colorful publications that we can give to you that are suitable for children, so just let us know if we can help. The 34th Annual Georgia Bar Media and Judiciary Conference was well attended by judges from many classes of court and opened with remarks on public confidence in the courts by former Chief Justice Boggs. With Law Day fast approaching on May 1st, it's time for our annual Law Day contest. Please help us select this year's art contest winners. AOC staffers have culled the entries to five finalists in 4 categories, grouped by grade. And a booklet that should be, that's right, Judge Harris, yep, right there. And a booklet has been provided to you. Enjoy looking at the beautiful artwork by Georgia's children, and please help us select the first, second, and third place winners in each category by using the color green paper to vote. We've got a collection basket right outside for the voting slips, so please drop them off on your way out of this meeting. The winning art is displayed at the AOC offices and may be in a Chief Justice's office in the future. Thank you to GCCA for co-sponsoring this contest with us by providing gift cards to all our winners. In February, we celebrated Black History Month by featuring Georgia judges along childhood pictures they had submitted. It was wonderful to get participation from all over the state. Here are just a couple of examples. We've got Judicial Council member Chief Judge Shandina Cruz Morris of the DeKalb Circuit, and also a submission from the southwest part of the state. That's Mitchell County Probate Court Judge Surlis West Robinson to the right. In March, we celebrated Women's History Month with similar tributes, and again received wonderful pictures from judges all over Georgia. Among them are 3 Judicial Council members. That's right, we got Presiding Justice Warren, Chief Judge Ann Harris, and Chief Judge Michelle Harrison. Staff of the Judicial Council Standing Committee on Access to Justice met in March with students of the Georgia State College of Law in preparation for the alternative spring break, during which they helped support the Southwest Georgia Legal Self-Help Center. Our AOC research team recently traveled to Athens, not for a football game, but to attend a data analytics conference at the University of Georgia. The AOC staff continue to improve their skills at conferences like this to ensure the best support services are always available to you. Additional AOC staff news includes, and this is no surprise, the promotion of Tracy Mason as Deputy Director of the AOC. Yay! Tracy's 20 years of service to the judiciary continues to be exemplary, and we are lucky to have this talented professional aid us in our legislative and policy work for you. Thank you, Tracy. Longtime staff member and AOC communications guru, Michelle Barkley, will also be retiring prior to the next Judicial Council meeting. Michelle, thank you for your dedicated work for over 25 years an unwavering passion for improving the lives of Georgia's children. You will be missed. We are grateful to the many judges who have given of their time over the years to speak at our monthly all-staff meetings. It means a great deal to us to hear from the people we serve, which is you, the members of the Judiciary and Judicial Council. In January, we heard from Clayton County Chief Magistrate Court Chief Keisha Wright-Hill, and in February, we heard from Chief Judge Brenda Weaver of the Superior Court for the Appalachian Judicial Circuit. Spring is here, as we noticed, and many of our friends are watching or attending the Masters Golf Tournament this week. I'm praying that the weather cooperates and there will be blue skies and fair winds for the golfers to accompany the delicious pimento cheese sandwiches being prepared for the crowds. We may even have a couple of box lunches today containing yummy sandwiches for you after the meeting. Now, traditionally, I welcome the newest members of our judicial branch family who are wearing these baby bibs. And for those of you who haven't seen them, these are for your children or grandchildren, your colleagues' children, anybody in the judicial branch. So, for the first time in 10 years, I have no baby bibs to show you. No photos, nothing. So, somebody better get busy. With that, the AOC is a service agency to Georgia's judges. We exist to serve you, the members of the Judicial Council and the Judiciary. Please let me know how we can support you in your work on and off the bench. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia, for that excellent report. Moving on to reports from courts, councils, and the bar. There's a written report from the Supreme Court. I thought this would be a good point for me just to offer a couple of additional thoughts. The written report focuses principally on the transition between Chief Justice Boggs and myself, and also our visit up to Chief Judge Scott Smith's jurisdiction for the Chief Justice's last oral argument in Cartersville. We appreciate y'all for hosting us. Y'all did an awesome job. But I know we are all appreciative to Chief Justice Boggs for his many years of service to our state. He told me he ran for State House the year he got married, and 25 years later, he decided it was time to go home. So we will all miss him dearly, and of course, he left without giving us a chance to tell him goodbye at a Judicial Council meeting, but I know we're all
He may
appreciative.
be watching online.
I am pretty sure he has better things to do with it. The Masters is going on right now, Cynthia, come on.
That's right. And thank you for wearing the green tie and PJ, the green jacket.
I will say, notwithstanding several scurrilous rumors, there is in fact not a legal requirement that Chief Justices have hair. And I will tell you, there is a portrait out there on this floor of former Chief Justice George Carley, who will provide very clear precedent for people other than Mike Boggs and Dave Namias serving as chief. And so far as I know, although we did get sworn in on April 1st, I don't think it was a prank.
Not a joke.
And April Fool's Day is still better than the day that the Chief Justice and I and then Justice Grant got sworn in initially. That was December 7th of 2016, and as we all know, President Roosevelt declared December 7th a day that shall live in infamy. I don't think he was thinking about the Georgia Supreme Court when he said that, but you can't be sure. But if y'all had the opportunity, many of y'all were at the investiture, and we really appreciate you honoring us with your presence. But if you've had if you weren't, If you have the opportunity just to listen to the more substantive part of the remarks that I gave, my focus as chief is not going to be as much on new policy initiatives. We have a lot of those ongoing, and we're gonna finish them well. But I don't have any big new policy initiatives that I want to focus on. What I really want to focus on is on the core work of the judicial branch, and that's upholding and advocating for and defending the rule of law. And there's a lot of that to be done over the next 4 years. And I am so appreciative to each of you for the work you do day in and day out to do that. And so that really is going to be, I think, our focus for the next several years. And I look forward to working with each of you in that effort. And with that, I will pass it on to Chief Judge Amanda Mercier.
Obviously, we're going to stand on our written report, but I would like to say two things. One, if you have not heard Chief Justice's remarks from his investiture or former Chief Justice's Boggs at the last state of the judiciary, you would have been very proud to be part of that day as a judge. It is a truly great gift to work with people who appreciate the importance of an independent judiciary and are not afraid to say it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Statewide Business Court, Judge Bill Hamrick.
We will stand on our written report. Thank you.
Council Superior Court Judges, Chief Judge Ian Harris.
To stand on our report. Thank you.
Council of State Court Judges, Chief Judge Jeff Hansen.
We'll stand on a report. I just want to add one thing that some of you may know, Rich Slaby, who was about 10 years ago, he was the president of our council, was on this council, and he passed away about a week ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Council Juvenile Court Judges, Judge Neil Brunt.
We'll stand by a report that I'm going to submit next week. The only thing I would like to add, we spent a lot of time and effort over the last 12 months of working with AOC and working with the Superior Court clerks and JCATS and other groups trying to get things in line for our data submission pursuant to SB 401 that passed. I think everything's in far better shape now than it was a few months ago. So the first data dump is due on April 15th with the report going to the General Assembly in May. I know there's a lot of interest in the General Assembly with that, but I think we've made a lot of progress. I'm feeling good about where we stand now.
Great. Thank you, Judge. Appreciate your work on that. I know it's been a lot. Council of Probate Court Judges, Judge Baller.
I need to make an amendment to our report. I think I incorrectly listed that House Bill 530 had passed, and it looked like it was passing at the time that I submitted the report. So in my zeal, make that retraction there. Otherwise, we stand on our report.
You got to find some wood to knock on when you do that. No, it really did look like it was going to pass. And honestly, if they hadn't gavelled out as early as they did, it might have. It just needed a little bit more time. Council Magistrate Court Judges, Judge Wolf.
Thank you. We stand on our report. I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity to serve with this group. It's just been amazing, so thank you.
Council of Municipal Court Judges.
Thank you. Good morning. I want to express Judge Will's regret for not being able to be here, but Judge Quadra is doing a fine job standing in here. I also know that Judge McCord would have loved to have been here, as always.
I have a bid for him.
That probably is in line, knowing his family plan, but I'm sure he's watching. We do want to congratulate you on becoming Chief Justice, and we wish you the best of luck. Otherwise, we'll stand on our report.
Thanks very much. State Bar of Georgia, President Ivy Cadle.
Good afternoon. I hope we're almost at afternoon anyway. I have a few words. As you might expect, the chief is always correct. In a quick review of my calendar, confirm that this is, in fact, my last meeting. So I appreciate your attention as I give you a brief update. I want to reiterate congratulations to the chief and the new PJ. I've enjoyed working with both of them. They have taken my calls and been incredibly responsive. I want to give a special nod to Justice Warren and Justice Bethel for serving as our liaisons and being super involved and really super helpful. As you'll see in my forthcoming State Bar Journal, dealing with the expected and unexpected this year has been an interesting mixed bag, I guess. I like to say, ask not what you can do for your bar year, ask what your bar year will do to you. And this has been one of those years. We started with the Appalachia High School shooting, the biolab plant in Conyers, which was in the news today, and Hurricane Helene. I want to reiterate my thanks to Chief Justice Peterson and then Chief Justice Boggs for partnering with the State Bar and coming up with an emergency order for a 30-day stay that was incredibly helpful and incredibly well received. Our decision to have all in-person attendance at our meetings for the State Bar has been a success. We have had great meetings, great interaction, and has been a good time. And as I asked you last time, and asked you to come see us, we'd love to have any and all of you at our meetings, and that's one of the great benefits of the bars. You get the brochure, and you don't need to be a member of the Board of Governors to sign up and come join us, so please do that. We've had our own Artificial and Technology Committee led by Darrell Sutton. It has several subcommittees, and they will be issuing a formal report at our annual meeting in June. That's been a big success. We've reinvigorated the Attorney-Client Solicitation Committee with new chairs, Darrell Champion and Brian Adams. And at our mid-year meeting in Savannah, we passed 9 bylaws, 8 rules, and 2 policies, which was the planned part of the year. I wanted to engage in governance so that we could leave the bar off better than we found it, and we were able to do that. Caesar Mitchell and Graham McDonald ably led the advisory committee on legislation, and we have a new director of government affairs, Jen McNeely, who is a real asset under the Gold Dome. I want to congratulate this group on getting House Bill 85 and House Bill 86 passed. I know that this guy was up there a lot, and so were many of you. So a special congratulations for getting that over the line. We were proud to support that effort. The fiduciary law section, if any of you have work that focuses on fiduciary law, there is a revision to that code coming. They passed one of their kind of comprehensive reviews. It was a bipartisan thing. And so that will be coming out. So if you're in that area, look for that. We've also got a new rule, pro bono rule, that we're working to partner with the court on so that certain inactive lawyers can do CLE under certain conditions after they've done some CLE, and it would have a little tweak to the emeritus status as well, but trying to get more lawyers so that we can help contribute to solving the legal desert problem and have more people help people in need. I will give a more fulsome report at the annual meeting in Sawgrass, but wanted to kind of highlight these things. It's been quite a year. I hope we have left this place in a better place than we found it. I'm excited about what President-elect Chris Twyman is going to do next year. He has been a fabulous partner, and I know that he is going to build on the success this year. The State Bar is in good hands with Chris, and I reiterate my invitation for each and every one of you to come see us at Sawgrass. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ivy, and thank you for your leadership and your partnership with Georgia's courts and the judicial system. We really appreciate how supportive the bar has been and just worked hand in hand over the last year. And I also extend my congratulations to Chris, and we really look forward to working together. And I should also acknowledge Executive Director Damon Elmore and Jen McNeely, who Ivy mentioned, also with us. So it's just great to have y'all. Thank you. All right. Moving on, reports from additional judicial branch agencies. Council of Accountability Court Judges, Allison Lerner.
All right, thank you so much, Chief Justice. We will stand on our written report as everyone else, but we do just want to add thank you so much to the Judicial Council for supporting our budget and in general our legislative agenda last year with HB 873. We could not do what we do without this body and without the staff at the AOC. And special thanks to Tracy and Abigail and Robbie for helping us out during session as always. It is really a pleasure to work with y'all. And with that, I will stand on our report.
Thank you. Georgia Commission on Dispute Resolution. Chief Judge Cindy Morris.
We'll stand on our written report, but we do want to thank Chief Justice Peterson, Justice Bethel, Director Clanton, and Andrew Zoll for your leadership, your support, and your guidance in our budget endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Justice's Commission on Professionalism, Carlise Greer.
Good morning. I want to start by congratulating you and Justice Warren, and with that, I'll stand on the written report.
Thank you very much. I know the Benham Awards are coming up next week, so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, on Tuesday.
Excellent. Georgia Council of Court Administrators, Lindsay Mobley.
Good morning, Council. I'm Lindsay Mobley, President-elect of the GCCA, standing in for President Ezell this morning. As Director Clanton mentioned, we did receive the resolution through the Georgia State Senate on March 3rd, 2025, recognizing our work for the advancement of court administration. We had a successful spring conference back in March at Callaway, and we're looking forward to a conference in September in Savannah. Otherwise, we do stand on our report.
Well, thank you very much. ICJE, I think written report, no staff present. Judicial Qualifications Commission. Hey, Ashton.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Ashton Murphy for Courtney this morning. Nothing to report other than I will send Cynthia a picture for next meeting so that you will have something to share. Thank you.
Well, thank you and congratulations. Georgia Association of Juvenile Court Clerks, Samantha Cannon or Alicia, yes.
Hey, Samantha Cannon, I'm the current intermediate past president of our association. We will stand on our written report with one caveat. I want to say a special thank you to Mr. Luke's office, Mr. Sean King with King and Solution, and all of the independent juvenile court clerks who were dedicated to meeting the requirements of SB 401. The last 9 months have been difficult, but I think we made it, so thank you.
Well, thank you very much and thank you for your hard work. All right, and with that, that brings us to old and new business. Is there any old business? Is there any new business? All right, now I want to recognize a number of outgoing members. One of the things about the Judicial Council is, given the way that it's made up and the frequency with which council leadership turns over, we turn over a number of members every year. And so I want to, how do you want me to do this, Cynthia?
However you want. You want to go over and stand at the podium? You want to stand in
Yeah,
your
I can do
spot?
that. All right, when I call your name, if you would come up, we'll get a picture of me handing you your certificate, and move on. Chief Judge Amanda Mercier. Chief Judge Harris, you're next. Thank you very much. Chief Judge Mercier and I came on the Court of Appeals together, along with Judge Rickman, back in December of 2015, in the basement of the health building, which we discovered was the old Fulton County morgue.
To which Justice John Ellington said, "Don't pull up the carpet."
Yes. So we discovered that because the floor is slanted, and we were working late one night, and we asked somebody, why is the floor slanted? And apparently it's morgue-related logistics. Thank you, Judge. Chief Judge Ann Harris. Judge Smith, you're next. Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
Judge Scott Smith. Judge Dickinson, you're next. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your service. Judge Hanson, you're next. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your service.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. Judge Hanson, Judge Brunt, you're next, but you don't have far to go. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your service. Judge Brunt, Judge Ballard, you're next. You don't even really have to get up. Thank you so much for your service. Appreciate the work. Judge Ballard, Judge Wolf, you're next. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your service.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
Judge Ballard and I got to know each other during COVID when he was Rules Committee Chair for the probate judges, and we're doing a lot of late night working through emergency rules. Bobby, thank you so much for your service.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Ivy Cadle.
We're going to mail Judge Will.
Thank you for your service.
Glad to do it. Chief, can I have one over here when y'all finish, please? Thank you.
All right. Not present, certificate will be mailed in addition to Judge Will, is former Chief Justice Michael P. Boggs. All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your patience. Couple of last items. Our next meeting will be general session Thursday, August 28th. Note that that is a date change from the previously scheduled date of August 15th. Thursday, 10 a.m., August 28th. The rest of the calendar year 25 meeting schedule is at the bottom of the agenda. The calendar year 26 schedule is being worked up and will be shared soon. I thought I would just ask briefly, in-person versus Zoom. I know that for any body that is made up of people from all over the state, for those who are further away from Atlanta or wherever the meeting location is, it can be challenging to have everything in person. But at the same time, I know that it's hard to do the kind of relationship building that is so important to the proper functioning of this body when all you do is see each other over a computer screen. So as we look to plan the upcoming meetings, just be thinking about how open are you to mostly in-person stuff? And how open are you to starting back up the practice that we had pre-COVID of periodically having a meeting outside of Atlanta? So that's not a, you need to tell me anything right now, but be thinking about it, and please provide feedback to either me or to Cynthia.
Please let me know.
And so our next meeting is August 28th here in the courthouse, and then we have a December meeting, which will be by Zoom. And with that, unless anyone has anything else,
So we've got a group picture
group picture.
afterwards, and it's going to be on the lobby. And,
On the veranda out
Yeah.
here, overlooking the Capitol.
and box lunches are here.
Okay.
So good. And what's the weather?
The weather's going to be gorgeous over the weekend. So it's frankly probably a good weekend to smoke some ribs. So I may do that. And with that, we're adjourned.